Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Let's talk about 7 stocks to watch this week. Quick preface, Bitcoin just passed $50,000. It's briefly fallen below that. It's kind of trading right below that right now, but I might average into my 10th coin here soon and finally bite the bullet and buy my 10th Bitcoin. We'll see. I still think there is a real possibility of a Bitcoin correction if inflation does not end up coming after sort of the April-May period. We'll see. I still do think Bitcoin is something to be invested in, though, at least with, somewhere between 4 to maybe 6% of your portfolio. All right, let's get into the stocks, though. This week, I'm watching Palantir. Palantir, the big data company that has 2 main products, Palantir Gotham and Palantir Foundry. Gotham for counterterrorism and tracking people like crazy. I mean, you put in... Get this, for example. I just got to mention this really quickly. Get this. The government might not legally be allowed to understand what is inside of your emails by actually reading them, but they could put the dots together of whom you're talking to, when you're talking to people, put all this information into a big data machine like Palantir's big data machine, and use that to pretty much learn everything else they need to know about you. So it's funny how there are all these workarounds for privacy. In other words, as many people say, haha, don't kid yourself, you ain't got any privacy. Anyway, Palantir's Gotham, that's the counterterrorism software. Palantir has Foundry as well, that helps for corporate clients. But anyway, Palantir beat earnings this morning. They blew earnings out of the water. They had revenue growth of 40%, yet the stock is selling off about 7.5% at the time of this recording. This company currently trades for around 37 times 2021 sales estimates, but it's possible that some folks might be getting a little bit concerned that how much longer can this company continue to grow at these paces, or at this pace, I should say. Now, this is on top of the fact that on Friday, employees will, since IPO, for the first time, be able to start selling their shares. That means share lockup agreements from insiders expire, and we could potentially see a rush to exit and take some nice profits off some crazy gains, because the stock has done incredibly well. At one point, and it kind of still is, was a Wall Street Bets a meme stock. It has ballooned to incredible highs. And recently, just in the last few days here, has had some downside selling pressure. And so it is under my $30 buy target, which is really where I want to own this stock. But I'm a little bit tempted to wait till Friday to see what kind of selling pressure we get at the opening bell. Keep this in mind, when Snowflake had its lockup expiration, we had a big set of selling pressure right at the opening bell, but the stock actually recovered pretty quickly right after that. So we'll see what kind of orders we get on Friday, and who knows, maybe the stock will bounce back on Wednesday and Thursday leading into Friday. So getting it under 30, I don't think you can go wrong on Palantir, but then again, I'm some dude on the internet, so take it for what it's worth. In other words, don't sue me, bro, if you lose money on Palantir or anything else that I say. Okay, next up, folks, there's basically only one dude that I know who can print money as fast as Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Maybe not as much, but as fast, yes. And it's the guy who's running Nanadimension. Folks, every single time Nanadimension has a run, this CEO prints money by selling shares. Yesterday, on President's Day, we heard that Nanadimension announced it would sell another 39.1 million shares at a price of $12.80 per share. That's a discount to the current share price of $15.60, leading the stock to now fall here in pre-market hours by about 8.4%, down to around $14.29. The CEO is very bullish on getting his hands on as much money as possible, because he does want to use that money to buy up potential competitors or even chip makers so he can replace or partner with them with basically using Nanadimension 3D printing technology as basically a way to Trojan horse their product. Nanadimension has done extremely well, despite, well, the stock has, their company, they're spending a lot of time right now on research and development. They're not selling as many of their products right now because of COVID, but they're excited to really get out there and sell once COVID is over. But anyway, Nanadimension the stock has been doing very, very well despite all of these stock raises. We've had at least 3 within just the last 2 months. And part of this is really due to the position that, in my opinion, the CEO has, combined with the fact that they they get huge pumps every time ARK Invest buys shares because, well, as more people put money into ARK Invest, more money flows over to Nanadimension because Nanadimension is part of ARK's, or at least one of ARK's portfolios. Now, the CEO, keep this in mind, he's kind of a line here. The CEO has a goal of Nanadimension getting acquired in the future. He wants this company to be bought out. He wants to be known as the guy who can come into a company, turn a ship around, make it profitable, and sell it for a big profit. Obviously, this is a different kind of leader than like Bezos. Oh, wait, he kind of quit Amazon. And he didn't fully quit. We know that. But he's still on the board, but he left the CEO role. This is obviously a different kind of leader, though, than like an Elon Musk or a Tim Cook, right? Where you've got a leader who's really in it to win it for the long run. And that's not to necessarily say it's a slam on Nanadimension. It's just you got to know if you're investing in Nanadimension, you are riding with this CEO and you're going to be along for a bumpy ride as he kind of maneuvers to raise as much capital as possible to do the acquisitions he wants to do. And with that is going to come share price volatility. But hey, in the long run, the hope is that Nano either goes big or gets bought out. That's the goal. We'll see. Still a little bit skeptical on how many of these machines are going to be able to sell outside of research institutions and the military. We'll see. Those are things to keep an eye on. Next up, folks, CCIV. This is the Spac that is rumored to be merging with Lucid Motors. I made a video about them a couple of days ago, and I want to be very clear. When you Google CCIV's market cap, that is not the same as the market cap of Lucid. CCIV is only going to get a percentage of the Lucid shares outstanding. So if you want to know what the potential market cap of Lucid is based on the share price, watch my last video understanding what I said about this. You can go to the stocks only playlist, or go check out that video on CCIV, and what you'll see is I actually show what Lucid's market cap would be based on CCIV's share price, based on the information we have now, which could change. That creates risk with CCIV. But keep in mind, in terms of SPACs, this is my most bullish SPAC. CCIV is down about 5% right now in the pre-market. Now, this drop is a drop in the bucket compared to the over 30% rally we had last week and the doubling this has done since I bought the stock and since I recommended the stock. Recommended the stock in the stock alerts that I send out to all stock course members, which if you haven't yet checked that out, check out the link down below for that. You could use the coupon code that's in the description below as well so that you can get these stock alerts as well instantly when I send them out. In fact, my promise to course members is absolutely every move I make with my money in terms of investing in stocks or crypto, buys and sells, you get every single alert, every move that I make with my portfolio. And I've got over $24 million in the market. I don't send alerts for every move I make in real estate, though. That's a different portfolio. Anyway, remember, this stock, CCIV, it runs on news, and it tends to sell off after the news. It's kind of like buy the rumor, sell the news. So anytime, well, I guess in this case, we should modify that a little bit. In the case of CCIV, it's really like buy the rumor and then sell the old rumor. Like, in other words, when a new rumor comes out on CCIV, this thing goes up. It goes up 10, 20%, and then you slowly see the air come out of the bubble until a new rumor comes around to prop it up again. So keep that in mind. If you're in CCIV, you're going to experience that volatility. It doesn't mean anything. We're still waiting for that confirmation on, yes, Lucid is indeed merging with CCIV, and a lot of folks are expecting a big pop when that day comes. Though who knows how much of that is already priced in. There are some folks who think this could easily go to $60. For me, if this stock goes over 80, it might be time for me to say, okay, I've hit some targets here, time to take some money and run. But until then, I am not even trimming my position. I'll consider adding to this position, though. If it gets under 30, I might nibble a little bit. Under 25, I might go a little heavier. But anyway, obviously, any bad rumor could potentially push us into a direction where we get a slight sell-off. So keep an eye on CCIV. Number 4, GHVI. This is the Matterport SPAC, and holy smokes, this thing is up 20% in the pre-market. This is my second largest SPAC holding after CCIV. I sent out an alert to course members on this one when it was at about $13.42. I have over $490,000 invested in this company. It's already printed tendies worth worth about $130,000, which is awesome. To me, this stock is a buy under 20. Once we start going over 20, I think in the, first of all, if you buy it at 20, you're exposed to some potential volatility in the short term. In the long term, I think this is a buy under 20. It's still a nibble under 25, but once we go over 25, then we start giving up some of the future potential. I see this as a $30 to $40 stock, and I don't want to give up all my gains too early on this one. Anyway, so that's why I kind of placed my limits there on this one. Great company though. Again, sent out an alert when I bought this one. If I buy more, I'll send out alerts. So make sure you get those alerts. Number 5. Okay. Wow. EXPI. This one continues to move. Now, EXPI just had a stock split today. Well, it technically happened Friday, but we see it in the charts today. EXPI had a 2-for-1 split, which means right now at a price of $84, this is really $188 pre-split, which is absolutely insane. I sent an alert to course members about the stock at $42, and again at $80. And the $80 alert was, oh my gosh, they just announced a stock split. Like, this is going to get on hedge funds' radar, and this thing's gonna run. And folks, no duh, it ran. Like, it went from 80 to 160, split back down to 80, and now it's running again today. This is insane. I expected a little bit of a sell-off. I'd like to be able to buy this under $60 a share, but real estate is really hot right now, really hot, especially because the real estate market has just been so resilient. Which brings up Redfin. Redfin earnings are next week. This means this is the last week to really buy some Redfin before we get those earnings. Now, I'm very bullish on earnings, but you never know how a stock is going to react after earnings. Look at Palantir, okay? Bullish on Palantir, but the thing's sold off. Now, I don't own any Palantir, but I'm interested in really creating a position in this. But I want to see what happens with the lockup. Oh, and I do have a tiny little bit of Palantir in the 1337 pie, but I don't have a meaningful position in Palantir, so I want to clarify that. But anyway, Redfin reports next week. We have been in this one in the course since it was like $10 a share, more heavily around $25 to $35 a share. So it's really 9x from the absolute lows where we bought this thing, and more like 3x from where I think we heavily averaged into this. So tremendous work for Redfin, which really was, for me, one of my more safe bets. Like, CCIV and the Matterport Spac, those are more like spec bets where it's like, yeah, this is going to go big. I never expected Redfin to go this high. But hey, we'll see. Relative to other businesses, I love Redfin. I think it has more potential than Zillow and Opendoor in the long term. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Number 7, Shift Technologies. So this is the used car company. It kind of juked us last week. We thought we were going to see earnings on the 12th, and, that ended up just being an estimate that they would report earnings on the 12th because they did not. Shift did not have an earnings date last week, and it doesn't have an earnings date this week either. We actually have no idea when they're going to report earnings. This is only the second time that they're going to report earnings as a public company, so a lot of eyes are on this company. If this company blows expectations, like in a good way, this could easily double in value is my expectation. This is a $10.80 stock at the time of this recording. Sent out alerts to course members on this one at $8. I've been really excited waiting for this rocket ship to take off. I think it's way undervalued, especially if you look at how much Carvana has blown up. If you compare the metrics between these two, Shift is a bargain basement price, and this is one I just have to hold into earnings. If it goes down and sells off back to $8, I'm buying more of this thing because one of these days, this thing is going to be valued appropriately and it's going to be a $40 stock. Stay tuned. Now, for some honorable mentions, Lennar, FedEx, BlackBerry, MP Material, and Winnebago and Nike and Darden Restaurants all report this week. I'm excited and I'm expecting a beat by Lennar in homes. Definitely expecting a beat there. Wouldn't be shocked to see Darden actually miss after a tougher COVID winter. We'll see. Maybe people softened their expectations here, though. And Winnebago, was an early COVID winner, but will we be able to maintain that through the COVID winter? Or did we maintain that through the COVID winter, I should say, since this will be rear-looking earnings. We'll see. But anyway, these are definitely stocks to keep an eye on this week. I'm super excited for this week. I'll be streaming, so make sure to stay tuned to the channel. Now, after you watch this, I really encourage, if you have not yet, go check out the video that I made on CCIV. Go to the stock playlist, get caught up on the videos there. I also created a playlist for the Meet Kevin show. So you'll see that linked down below, or you could just go on the channel, look under playlist, Meet Kevin show, and that's where you'll see all my interviews with CEOs or other financial experts. Thank you so very much for watching, and folks, we'll see you in the next video.